Okay, so it's been a little bit since I did my last one. Honestly, I don't really have an excuse as to why I haven't been able to make an episode. Just been kind of lazy. But I'm going to try and commit to having a regular schedule, like I said I was going to. Just been busy and lazy. So today I want to talk about a different genre than most people are used to. Everyone is used to horror, and in horror you have your thrillers, your slashers, your paranormal. But I wanted to talk about my mic a little bit. My mic's like in my face. I wanted to talk about a different genre. That's more of a media genre, if I'm being honest. It's more common on like YouTube and there's a movie that came out about it. It's Skinamarink. That genre is called analog horror, and if anybody knows what the term analog means, it is in Gen Z terms something incredibly old. No, what analog horror is, it's basically the use of old looking designs, such as like those 80s Sony cameras or those old infomercial videos where it's like how to properly set up your TV. It follows those kind of mediums of art where they had like kind of simplistic looks, like minimizing the look to maximize the efficiency and the effort. And that's exactly what analog does. It's all about not giving information that is clear and understanding. It's just about making sure that whatever is on screen is like absolute. It's if there's a picture of someone and it's just their eyes, that is the most important thing in the picture. Or if it's a newspaper, that is the one thing you should be focusing on, is the newspaper. And so I got into analog horror through a YouTuber called Wendigoon. Love the guy. I can't really say shout out to Wendigoon because he's bigger than me, but he makes great videos on analog horror. He makes great iceberg videos, so about like just icebergs. Alright, I'm getting off track. So I want to talk about two analog horrors specifically, in two kind of different versions of analog horror. So there's one that's going to be the very stereotypical analog horror, and then there's one that's more of an experimental, kind of, I guess, I wouldn't say risky, but it's a different type of analog horror. So the first one is Vita Carnis by, let me actually look up who made it. And I had it in my head 30 minutes ago. Give me a second. Oh yeah, Darian Killoy, I think. Killoy, I don't know how to say his name. I apologize if I butchered his name. But anyways, Vita Carnis, made by Darian. He does a great job of getting that like I said, that old analog type of medium where it's documenting what's going on. I don't want to spoil it too much because I want to put his channel's link in the description so that you can go check out what he has to do, because the whole thing, watching it, is its own journey and its own kind of, if you enjoy analog horror, or if you enjoy horror in general, you'll appreciate it. It might be boring to you because analog horror, I'm gonna be honest, people can get bored of it really quickly, just because it's not the usual media that we're used to. But yeah, I'll let you check him out. What I wanted to point out was he does this really incredible thing in one of his videos called The Mimic. I'm not going to spoil what it is, where there's a hand that comes around a door. And when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's a really cool effect, because it's practical. It looked practical. And then I saw his head, the head of the mimic come out, and then I realized it was all practical. And so I was like, I mean, obviously, when you see, you know, horror movies and stuff, and there's like ghosts that are flying with meat coming off of them, you know that they're not real. Like they're like, oh, this is CGI, but this is cool CGI. But whenever horror movies, like actual theatrical release horror movies, put out practical effects and create a practical monster, I gain a whole new appreciation for it. And I think y'all can agree that you look at the monster differently. Like in Alien, the original Alien, that was all practical. They didn't have special effects for the monster or for the alien. It was all practical effects. Another cool example is there's a movie called Prey, which is I know it's Alien and Predator, but yeah, there's a movie called Prey, and I found out recently that the suit that he was wearing for the Predator had what are they called? It had like mechanics in its mouth so that it could do like the weird like the prongs moving. And that was absolutely disgusting when I heard that. But it's just things like those, you know, the effort to put in like just a practical look or like an authentic look. It changes completely how someone views the story. They're not going to be scared of a computer, but they will be scared of something that genuinely exists in this world. So yeah, I enjoyed the practical effect that he did. Actually, I hope to do something like that in the future, because holy crap, that was terrifying. But yeah, the story that Vita Carnes is about is kind of like, it's okay. So first off, a common like thing that analog horror artists do, and it's kind of universal. It's not just him. They all have to all do something with the government, right? The government is covering something up. The government is clueless. The government is evil. Excuse me, etc. In Vita Carnes, the government has this thing where I'm not gonna say it like much, but the oncoming threat, the oncoming threat is portrayed as like a good thing and like a you know, like a healthy thing for us. Like, oh, don't worry about it. You can have it in your house. You can have it as a pet, which in reality is not true. These things are terrible. They're monsters and they will kill you. But it's kind of like that. It's that desire for power, that desire for money, because they do sell things. They do sell parts of the threat, and that just makes it like even more horrifying to think like, oh, they're selling the one thing that can kill us, you know. So yeah, they do that. They do that thing in a lot of analog horrors where they make the villain important, or like the biggest threat, but they also make the government just as much of a threat in the sense that they're not trying to help you. They're genuinely trying to take you down because they want money, or they want power, or they would just want control. Another good example, I don't really know, I haven't seen all of it, and I want to, but the Backrooms analog series by Kane Pixels has a great example of a different type of government that I really enjoyed. And this was with their government called A6. A6 is kind of like this, I don't know how to explain it. They are a government that is trying to control the backrooms as like a money plot, right? They have this, you know, they obviously have wealth, but once they find out how to get to the backrooms, they make it their like mission to control everything in and out of it. Because now, you know, if you have access to infinite area or infinite utility, then of course you can make an entire monopoly off of it. And that's exactly what they do. The only issue is that there are things within the back rooms that shouldn't be messed with, and messed with. Sorry. There are things that shouldn't be messed with, and they do mess with it, not because they know that it's inherently evil or wrong. They just have no clue what it is, and so it's that ignorance that drives them to the situations that they're put in. And I like that. You know, we don't really see we don't see that anymore in media. I can't even remember when we've seen that, where it's kind of like we're just kids who are poking the bear instead of us being terrified people who are massacring like people, you know. And so yeah, I enjoy that type of government. Of course, like I said, I like the regular government, the stereotypical villain. But yeah. Vita Carnes does a good job of showing kind of a monopoly type, like a monopoly in favored government, where they actively want money, and that's the only thing they really want. And so yeah, I definitely recommend watching Vita Carnes. Again, made by Darian. I'll put the link in the description of this episode. It's incredible. The second one I want to talk about was, again, by Kane Pixels, who is a very big analog horror artist that's already made himself well known. Kane Pixels is the same guy who created the Backrooms analog horror, and he's also the one that created the more recent one called The Oldest View. And by the recent one, I mean like it's about 8 months old. I think it's about 8 or 9 months old. The Oldest View, I'll talk about it a little more because The Oldest View is really cool. The Oldest View takes place in, I want to say, somewhere not in Texas. It takes place somewhere not in Texas, and it follows this guy named Wyatt, which is I like that name. It follows this guy named Wyatt, who is played by Kane himself, and Wyatt has this little I guess like cult following YouTube channel, and he posts on his YouTube channel that he found like a hole that goes into the earth and whatnot. When he goes down there, he finds that there's a staircase that's going down like a mile, like not a mile, but like dozens of meters underground. And so the episode or the video kind of follows him. I apologize. I'm sorry. It follows him going down there and exploring the like entrance way, where he can hear music and whatnot, and he thinks like, oh, I shouldn't be here like right now or whatever. So he leaves, and he comes back again the next day or a few days later, and he goes down there and he explores more, and he finds that there is an entire shopping mall down there. And in the shopping mall, there are things that say like welcome to Dallas, or like Dallas shopping mall. Hold on real quick. Let me actually look up what it's called so that I'm not just like shooting down Kane's work. Yeah, so it's called the Valley View Center, and it was an old mall that existed in real life, but was deconstructed in 2023. Yeah. Excuse me. The mall had been in Dallas since the 70s. And yeah, with its deconstruction, Kane found it, and he recreated it all. and I'll explain how he created it in a minute. But anyways, this guy goes down there in the mall, totally not from Texas, and ends up in Texas. Or actually, no, not in Texas, just in a mall, deep underground, out of nowhere. And this mall the lights are off, it's dark, it's creepy, there's no sound, until he, is walking around more. The lights come on, and music's playing and whatnot. That's when things start to get incredibly creepy. Especially because as he was walking around in the dark, he saw a very tall character with a beard, or a tall statue with a beard and leaves for hands. And this is whenever we kind of get our quote-unquote antagonist of the videos. Throughout the rest of the video, this statue is kind of antagonizing and haunting Wyatt, and just doing everything that he can to add fear to Wyatt. And the thing is, what's cool about it is it's not a statue that's moving with in any way that a statue would move. It has wheels. That's the only way it can move. But its hands aren't moving, its mouth isn't moving, its eyes aren't moving. It's simply just a statue who is following him with wheels. And there's multiple moments in it where he can hear lightning going on. Oh, I'm so tired, I'm sorry. There's multiple times where you can hear lightning going on. And when he hears lightning, then the statue becomes even more active. And so it's moments like those where, you're like, oh, please get out of, please just go out of the mall. And so as he returns to the entrance where he, was previously, it's caved in. The entire area the entire staircase that he took all the way down, it's gone. And so now he does his best to look for a way out, and as he does, he's being chased again by the same statue. Anyways, long story short, it ends in a certain way. I'm not going to spoil it. I definitely suggest watching it for yourself. It's an incredible piece of work, especially because Kane Pixels used I don't know if you know what it's called, or you probably do, but most people don't. He used a platform called Blender to develop the mall in a 3D design, completely using blueprints that were given to him by a friend of his who lives in Texas. They went and got the blueprints of the original mall. They sent them over to Kane, and he created the entire mall in his computer. And that's just insane, especially once you figure out, once you see it and you realize how realistic it looks. Of course, there's times where it gets scuffed, but that's because 3D isn't perfect. It doesn't follow the gravity. It doesn't follow gravity or the manipulation of light rules in our real world. So there's times where it looks a little scuffy, but overall, it is an incredible video, an incredible thing that I've ever seen someone do. I've never seen someone actually recreate a mall in Blender or in a 3D design. I've seen people create cool hotels in it, but usually it's just for a screenshot or for a picture, not an entire mall for a video to be filmed in. That's what I find super cool, is that he was able to walk through the mall using a camera. I don't know the proper terminology. If someone knows Blender, then you'll get what I'm talking about, but if not, you're as close as I am. But he used a camera in Blender, a viewing thing in Blender, and just traced the mall with his mouse, just so that he could get all the views and whatnot the way he wanted to go see it. So yeah, I mean, that's it's just so fascinating to me. I'm not very big on 3D replicas or 3D creation. Not in the sense that I don't like it. I like am in awe every time I see someone create something in 3D. I'm not really into it because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So I'm kind of like, I'll let those artists do their thing. I'll stick to what I'm good at, which is just regular videos. So yeah, Kane Pixels, he did an incredible job. And he is a new type of analog horror, I'd say. Him and the videos he made for the Backrooms, those are just different. You don't really see that in analog horror. The only other person I could say does it is, let me look up their name before I absolutely butcher it. Hold on real quick. Analog horror. Sorry, I'm like trying to keep it a secret. Okay. Why can't I find it? Like, okay, I'm finding like. Here you go. Oh no, it's not it. Hold on. I'm so sorry. Let me. I'm trying to like figure it out so that I don't. So I can do him justice. There you go. Okay, yeah, there you go. It's called Radar by Lyra Horrors. This film is very much the same way as Kane. It's kind of like that 3D look, both some practicalities and just very unique. So yeah. I honestly do like that analog horror a little less than traditional analog horror, and it's just because it turns into more of a thrilling horror instead of an analog. But the way that they do it, they interpret it in a whole new way so that it's both, and that's so awesome. And I wish I could do it. I want to try doing it, but yeah. Kane Pixels, Lyra Horrors, since I mentioned her, and just no way I just forgot his name. I am so sorry. There's no way I forgot his name. There's no way I forgot his name. Oh yeah, Darian. Those three artists, they are incredible. You should definitely go check them all out. I'll put the links to the videos in the description so that y'all can go check it out for yourself. Overall, in analog horror in general, I definitely suggest checking out analog horror if you like slow-paced or more like emotion-based and primal response horror. So if you like movies like Blair Witch Project and other found footage films, you'll definitely like analog horror because it's very similar to that. If you like stories that are very like cosmic horror, then you'll also like analog horror. That's a very common thing that they do, is like something much more powerful than humanity is trying to destroy humanity and is succeeding. That's the main, like the big thing, is succeeding. So yeah, I suggest analog horror to all of you who enjoy that type of regular horror. One last one that I would say is Mandela Catalog by Alex Keister. I haven't watched the Mandela Catalogs yet. I want to, and then I actually want to make a video off of them because they're so cool. But yeah, that's analog horror. This episode's gonna be. I knew this episode was gonna be a little shorter because analog horror is something you don't really talk about. It's more like something you witness and you actually view. So I guess this was kind of me like just, hey, you should go watch this genre of horror. Even if you don't like horror, I get it, totally get it. But I'd still say check it out because you might enjoy it. You never know. it's just it's very unique on how people do things. So yeah, hope everyone's having a good day. I'm gonna log off, and I'll have this video probably done by the end of the day. So yeah, good job.